Hello and welcome to another video from the Fantasy Legion. We're going through the 2020 rookies. I've got Sean with me. You all right, Sean?
Yes, very good. Thanks, Al. Yeah, I mean, it's been great fun doing these so far and really enjoying them. And hopefully people are enjoying the information, particularly we've got the before and after. So it's really interesting.
Okay, so you were quite sweet on Cam Akers before. We both quite liked him. He was the most visited RB in the class. What's your thoughts on Cam Akers now?
Well, my hope was that he would hold his value at round about the sort of 108, 109 range in rookie drafts, because if he fell to a team where he could work his way into the lineup, and so the pros would have some time to work with him, because he does have some definite deficiencies as a running back, I thought that was sneaky good value. But he's now being regarded, because of landing spot. Sometimes landing spot opportunity is great. I'm not denying he has an opportunity, but it can also be a real trap of a player for a few reasons. And I actually feel for him, and this is just me, and it's call this instinct, call this gut, whatever you want to call it, but I think this is the wrong fit for him, and it's the wrong scenario for so many reasons. And I think people are very quick to say, here we go. Here's a golden opportunity.
It's certainly a good opportunity, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Why do you have reservations then? What do you mean? What are we missing?
Well, the thing with Cam Akers, this is why I was hoping he'd work his way into a starting lineup. So I wanted him to have potentially 8 weeks, 9 weeks in a situation where he hadn't got much to beat. A nice situation actually might have been Tampa, would have been brilliant, because you've got the elite quarterback to help you. You've got who will tell you what you're doing wrong straight away, which would have been brilliant for his development. Plus, they wouldn't necessarily have to start him and then bring him along, which would have been brilliant for him. But you've gone to the Rams, who are a team, an organisation, let's be honest, who are in flux. Now, these kind of organisations are dangerous in fantasy. We know this because we often identify on our programme every single year. We start picking players out who've routinely come out from certain kinds of teams, and every year they've never let us down on the podcast because they have not worked out. And the Rams are starting to become that kind of organisation where you start thinking, they've got some problems. And it particularly in the running game is starting to look pretty dicey. Now, they took Henderson last year, people forget this, with a very valuable pick. So if you think for 1 minute that there isn't going to be a battle at camp, you're missing the point. People were very quick to say Malcolm Brown and Henderson would be battling it out in camp for the starting job. And I'm not denying that would have been a very strong possibility. And I'm not defending this because I've got shares of Henderson, because I think Henderson's opportunity in NFL are literally minute now. They're titchy. But Cam Akers does something that's very dangerous in the NFL that hasn't been coached out of him in college. And if you watch his tape and watch just the highlights, this guy runs with his head down into defenders. That's terrible. That has never been picked up in coaching. You see it all the time throughout his entire tape, and it's never been put right. So he's literally one hit away from a career going down south very fast, and you're in the wrong organisation. There's nobody there to coach it out of you. You've got no veterans to support you. I'm really worried about Cam Akers. I think the opportunity looks gold, but I've seen so many fool's gold picks in my life to know, and I'm really worried. I'm worried for Cam Akers.
Certainly an interesting backfield, what you say, with the three running backs that are likely to, with Brown and with Henderson.
How is it not?
How do you see it playing out then? Who do you think will win that role? Who do you think will win out in that role?
I think it's going to be a running back by committee, because I just see each of them getting shares of the backfield. I love you too, darling. How are you? Got Paige shouting, "I love you." Well, that's always nice to get that in a video. Thank you. Yeah. You don't get that very often, but I see it sharing out as a kind of a committee. I think Cam Akers could win the role. I'm not denying he has the talent to win the role, and the opportunity in the Rams always looks really mouthwatering. And our dear friend Sam did take Jalen Reagor.
No, he did. Oh, yeah, we're in a live draft at the moment, and we
kind of guessed.
We will talk about Jalen Reagor on another video later on. So
But that's good. Live drafting going on. But we're getting a lot of interruptions in everything.
You're on the clock now. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
I'm going to be taking Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to lie.
I'm picking after Shaw, which is really annoying.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to take it. Anyway, coming back to Akers for a minute, although it's great to have this live fantasy thing going on right now in the video, which is brilliant. No, there is some issues. So, I don't mind drafting him. See, for me, if you've got a chance to get an elite guy, in those first few picks, take them. If you've got a lot of picks, okay, you could be speculative and take a Cam Akers if you want to. That I understand that. And the chances of an opportunity are very, very high. And maybe he delivers. But he does run with a very violent contact style with head down. And I'm very concerned about that. If you look at his injury issues, it kind of has me head scratching, because as much as we could be saying, look at Akers, he's done brilliant the first few weeks of the season, then he goes down with a concussion, and then you're looking at Henderson getting a workload, then maybe Henderson never loses the job. It's strange things happen in the NFL. So
you got Brown as well, who you could say is probably the number one at the moment. He was
I would say he is. Last year. I would say he is the number one.
He's sort of perennially underrated, isn't he, Brown? I mean, he's never really let him down when he's come in. I've always thought he looked pretty good, but he's never had a sort of a longer chance to have a run at a shot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's quite believed in him yet, which is a real shame, because he's certainly one of these running backs. A bit like you see players around the league like Mattison looks really good in Minnesota. So when he gets his chances, he always looks really good. And I always think he looks a great player. Why don't teams come up and take a chance at him? Same with Brown. Brown looks like a decent prospect. If I was a Tampa, I'd be banging the doors down of the Rams to grab a Brown and
Rams might
put him
not
in there.
Sell him. I mean, they might believe in him. I mean, they got rid of Gurley, so they obviously
Cam Akers on paper, Cam Akers looks like a slam dunk, hellfire. Why would you even dare to?
You've just got a nagging doubt about injury, have you?
I've got serious problems, and the thing is, as much as it's very easy to sit on camera, we can go, look at Taylor, look at Hilaire, look at Dobbins, look at this guy, look at that guy. It all sounds great, but what rookies are like, and our people that watch know what rookies are like. We've got to try and identify some traps, because every year people bust. And for me, the one that's really glaring at the moment, I've really got big reservations over, I'm afraid, is Cam Akers. I just think the price is going too high for the risk and reward. If you're talking risk and reward, you want a sneaky player that can come up the rails and then take a job and has some time to get pro ready. He's got a really serious mechanical flaw, the one that's not obvious. Head down, into defenders, dangerous running style. Very, very difficult to cure that technique.
I mean, the thing about it is, though, running backs is a really volatile market. It's an ever changing sort of background where, your player can get injured and someone comes in and takes a job. There's any really. I mean, a lot of them have committees, but there's not many three-down backs these days. So trying to get a running back, they often go higher, even above. He's been taken above Judy and
stock value matters in the NFL teams. The Rams put a second into Henderson, and as much as people will say he's gone, he's dead, not yet. We'll see at the end of this season coming up. Now, if he does nothing, he's gone. It's over. It's finished. The project is dead. But he'll still have enough. While this situation is the way it is in the Rams, there's an opportunity this year. And he was not rubbish at college. Henderson wasn't rubbish. So if he can get given the chance and he shines, and it's a big if, there's no doubt it's a big, big if, then he has a chance. And
I'll tell you what, it really is a hard backfield to call, isn't it? Because
very difficult.
It's wide open. Any of those three could get the chance.
Or none. Or none of them. It could be, we look back at
Carlos Hyde come in.
Exactly. Where anything's possible. So I'm just saying now, putting it out on camera right now, massive reservations around him, have a serious problem picking him. I know he's going to go high. You see, the thing is about him, he's going to be regarded quite highly.
Would you be comfortable taking the risk there then in a rookie draft?
In rookie drafts?
Yeah.
In rookie drafts, I don't mind around 108, 109, 110. That's the range I would prefer to pay, purely because if I'm picking 108, 109, presumably I've got a team I'm relatively comfortable and I've done quite well the previous year. I can afford that risk. If I can't afford that risk, I'm not touching him. So that's where I prefer the risk. And it's
Or
not
you
me
could have
trying
a
to get a
team like
player on
mine
the
with
cheap.
one that's got the 111 in a 12-team league that's got Kerryon Johnson in it. It's like kind of been destroyed.
Yeah,
You know,
but
McCaffrey and Kerryon Johnson look quite a nice pairing, and now you're obviously losing Kerryon. Well, not losing him, but his value to seriously
he's
drop.
going to have to fight for his. Yeah, he's going to have to fight for his job, and his
And
health is
DeAndre
the
Swift
issue.
is not going to be easy to keep
Yeah.
away, is he? So,
No, very difficult. But coming back to Akers, I prefer the risk there. Now, if we go to redraft, it's a big question because you see, if you put Akers into a redraft board at the moment, I'm sure at the moment he's going to be in the late third, early fourth round picking stage of a large league. We're talking 16-man large league, so we're
about
talking
50 or 60, something like that.
Yeah, so it's a fair chunk down, right? And that's seems okay until you realise this is the Rams' backfield. Then you think, hang on a minute, his price is still going to keep climbing. So don't be surprised that by the time it's all said and done, we hit August when the key live drafts start, landing, or just slightly before. He's probably very close to the second round, if not in a second round of a 16-man live league. So
Malcolm Brown,
that's a huge
the air
price.
incumbent potentially could.
Yeah.
Be
So
going
that for
10
me,
to 11,
that
12.
for me is a massive price to play for a player who I like the sneaky value before the landing spot. Now I think people are going to overvaluate it, and that really worries me. You've got to understand the risk that comes with this guy.
You're not getting him. You're not getting him in 108, 109, 110. So you're basically
not now.
He's
not
really
now.
on
No.
your
No.
list.
People are going to pick him much higher, and because they're going to say, "Oh, the opportunity." Now, 99% of the time, I've said this in last year. I said 99% of the time, absolutely, yeah. Opportunity can trump so much, but this is one of those very rare situations where I'm not trying to be down on him. It's just his running style is so violent, and he gets his head down. Really, coaching-wise, it can't coach
Lynch
this out
was
of him.
pretty violent. He did all right.
Yeah, but he didn't run with his head down. He ran looking for the next contact. He ran.
He knew he was going to smash on the floor next.
He knew exactly what he was doing. Our man Cam puts his head down. That's the quickest way
one thing
to
you
go
have
out
got
of
to
a
watch
game.
as well with the rule changes. You're not allowed to sort of lead with your head anymore either. So
it's a big concern. Absolutely, Al.
Although they don't tend to call it. They didn't tend to call it much last year, did they? Even though it was blatantly happening.
No.
It's almost like a tick box exercise for health and safety, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's an important one, particularly for the running back position. It's one thing looking for contact, but you lead with your head, and there are two major issues. And Cam's got some injury issues, unlike another Cam. But he really worries me. And I'm just saying, look, be careful. That's all. Just be very wary. If you take him in your rookie drafts, just make sure you get him at the right kind of value. And if you've got a better player that you think, oh, I'm split between the two, take the other player. Just be wary. That's all. I'm going to be very careful with him.
Yeah,
so,
he's not. I mean, I'm a fan of the talent. I think he's got a good opportunity. To be honest, if I'm honest, I'd be happy to take him 105, 106. To be honest, but you're less keen, and that's
I'm just saying, just be wary. It's the Rams. Look, it's the Rams.
Is it what you're a pessimistic fan? Is that?
Well, the Rams, normally when you get a player of real talent, like when Gurley was in his heyday, I love watching him. I love watching him as a running back, and you knew exactly, what he was capable of. As he started to decline, you could see the cliff coming very quick. Rams saw it as well and shipped him off. The Rams have invested a lot of stock.
$20 million to send him on his way. I mean, cap space.
The Rams have invested a lot of stock in other running backs behind Gurley, except Malcolm Brown. And, now you've paid a second and a third round pick. This is beginning to have all the hallmarks of a running back by committee. And that's not good for fantasy football at all. And we're not even talking about a good running back by committee, where you've got a share of somebody who can get value.
Gurley has certainly had enough touchdowns. There's touchdowns to go around. Was it 18 or something? He had a lot, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Would it surprise you, though, if I said, look, I actually think, funny enough, that out of all of them, if I was redrafting, we are talking redraft, not dynasty. I'd probably prefer to pay the price of Malcolm Brown deep down low than I would any of the rookies at the top, just because I don't like the direction the Rams have gone here.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to pay a price, I'd rather take.
It could go to any of them, so you'd rather pay the lower price and take a shot at them.
I'd rather pay the lower price where I risk nothing, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I just bin Malcolm Brown to the waiver wire and pick up another player. I haven't paid high stock, and I'm not regretting the move. If I pay a high price for particularly for Cam, and it doesn't work out, I've lost.
Yeah,
It's painful.
it basically puts you, behind the 8 ball, doesn't it, straight away? So
Yeah, massively. I mean, I'm never afraid to take risks. Particularly in rookie drafts, I'll be the first to say, "Hey, I've reached as well." You do. But if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you have to be able to live with those results. It's just this year, I'm just very concerned. And Cam is one of those rookies that's price is going up, 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 up. And there was a reason why he was lowered down in people's, evaluation process before landing spot. I mean, fantasy is brilliant, but sometimes fantasy and real life can bring together a real dangerous mix. And Cam gives you that trap this year because head down into those violent running style, which I do love the style. It's one of the most fun things to watch sometimes. But coming with it comes a huge price on a personal level for him, which in the NFL you're up against. You're not talking college players now. We're talking the cream of the cream. We're talking the best of the best, and the contacts are far more serious, often 30, 40 pound more. And you can't actually explain that until you play against it. And I've never played at that level. I've played at a much lower level. But I know every time you go up a stage, that's why it gets harder.
Yeah.
So he's going to find the contacts much more serious. And you have that very violent running style. I'm really worried for you. Safety, I'm worried about you as a person and as a player. And I think you're a trap in fantasy, so I'm avoiding. And if I'm wrong, great, I'll say it next year. But if I'm right, I'll also be telling you why we got it, nailed it. So very, very concerned with him.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on Cam Akers? Are you buying? Are you selling? Is Sean right? Who's going to win the backfield job at the Rams? I mean, we just don't know yet. And I'm kind of with Sean. I like the value. I think taking a shot at Malcolm Brown later in redraft is probably the way to go. Like you say, it's a no lose gamble, isn't it? So
yeah,
and he's always underrated. He's not a fashionable guy, but he could
just
do
so
a
it's
good job.
Yeah, just so it's crystal clear, very talented Cam, very, very talented. Liked him when he was lower priced because it was just good value, good sneaky, upside rookie value. You could take some shots at, but now that price is skyrocketing and it's the wrong player to skyrocket value on. It really, really is dangerous. So I'm just warning you now, be prepared for games where he's out of action because that's the nature of his running style.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps. And subscribe to the channel for more. And we'll see you on the next one.